Good afternoon. I'm going to call to order the June 11th Public Infrastructure and Utilities Committee meeting. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Alderwoman Boyd. Alderwoman ClarkHubbard.
Here.
Vice Chair Schweitzer.
Present.
Alderman Devoti.
Present.
Chair Browning.
Present.
Alderwoman Boyd. We have 4 present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. And next we will move to approval of the minutes. We have minutes from our Wednesday, May 14th meeting in front of us. I will accept a motion to approve those minutes. That's what I meant, May 28th.
I move to approve the minutes of Wednesday, 5.
Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Who was the second?
The Alderwoman from the 10th.
Okay. Alderwoman Boyd. Alderwoman ClarkHubbard.
Aye.
Vice Chair Schweitzer.
Aye.
Alderman Devoti. Aye. Chair Browning.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd. We have 4 aye votes.
All right, with that, we will move on to board bills for review. We will start with Alderwoman Schweitzer, moving down to item number 2. So Alderwoman Schweitzer, you are recognized on board bill number 22.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. Today, Board Bill 22 is an ordinance making appropriations and for the payment of operating expenses, capital expenses, including lease purchase agreements and debt service expenses of the parking division of the Treasurer's Office. Today, we have Treasurer Lane to speak to us about this. He's right here. And he has a presentation prepared. So if it's all right with the committee, I'll just turn it over to him for that presentation.
Absolutely. Treasurer Lane, you are recognized on board bill number.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Thank you, Alderwoman Schweitzer, for sponsoring this bill for us. So I will go through it, and if you've heard it before, you'll be an expert by the end of this. But I want to introduce myself. I'm Adam Lane. I'm treasurer for the city of St. Louis. Been serving in this role since 2021 and just got reelected in November. So I always like to start with a bit of education, just letting everyone know and members of the public know what the role and responsibilities of the Treasurer's Office and the Treasurer is. So Chief Investment Officer for the city. So we single-handedly manage over $1 billion in city investments, and that's separate from the city's budget. And then we also provide banking services to all of our city departments, making sure that they have access to banks, lower fees, and all of the functions that they need for those accounts. We also operate and manage the parking division, which we're here to talk about today. And then through our Office of Financial Empowerment, we provide services to everyone in St. Louis, but particularly our employees here as well. Next slide. Okay, so what I will discuss are these things. So I will do a little bit more education on the parking division as an enterprise fund and the purpose of us having to go through this process. I'll talk about our year-end results as we close out the last fiscal year. I'll show you what our budget is for the upcoming fiscal year. Always talk about our debt balances and reserves, since those are things that exist within the parking division because we have bonding authority, upgrades that we're looking forward to in the next fiscal year, as well as the value-added services we provide to the city and will continue to do. And then our general fund contribution, which is the percentage of parking division profits that go to the general fund for the city of St. Louis, and then back into our city departments and functions. And then any questions that you all have at the end. Next slide. Okay, so I'll be brief. An enterprise fund essentially that we generate revenue, so it's a revenue generating division, department But with that revenue generating point, we do not use any tax dollars. The city does not fund the parking division. So any revenues or income that the parking division makes, the expenses that come from making those revenues come directly from our, or the expenses, so any of the costs come directly from our revenues. So there's no city tax dollars or appropriations that support the operations and costs of the parking division. So whatever we make, so hopefully we always make enough to be able to cover our expenses. And that is particularly important because when we look at just about 5 years ago when our city and our country world shut down for a little while because of COVID, we did not have the opportunity to dip into city reserves or be able to issue a ballot measure to increase taxable revenue that goes to the city and fund any indebtedness or cover any costs for the parking division. So that is something that we stand alone on. So just a little bit of info on what an enterprise fund is. But even though the city does not fund the parking division, and even though tax dollars do not pay for parking division operations, there is a significant chunk. By state statute, 40% of profits go right back to the city. Next slide. All right, so our budget performance last year compared to what we projected. So mainly and I'll let you look at it, but essentially we budgeted about a total of 20 million in anticipated revenue or expenses for the parking division, and we spent about 18 million. So on the right side, you can see what those variances are. And if it's positive, it's a, I guess, positive variance or a savings. If it's negative, then it's over budget. So you see that we had no places where we were negative or over budget and all positive variances. But I do want to say that most of it, just like we're seeing across the city, and you all know, or across our city departments, the 11% under budget performance when it comes to personnel, because I don't want it to make it seem like we're cutting costs or doing really well in cost savings on personnel. It's just for vacant positions, and I know our budget director, Paul Payne, has spoken to that ad nauseum, so I won't repeat anything that he said, but more salary savings on the personnel side. We did have some supply savings and equipment savings that will be adjusted for in 26, so we just didn't spend them in 25, but will in 26. Next slide. All right, so compared to, so where we're projected to end, and we don't have many more days left in this fiscal year, but where we're projected to end compared to our budget for next year. So again, same thing on the right side, you can see what those variances are. And again, they're all positive. Those show the increases. So this one's different, not the percentage difference, that show the salary, the savings, it shows the increase. So we are projected to increase our personnel line item as well. So this is adjusting for and staying in line with the increases. And then, like I already stated, with our supplies, we are increasing that as well. And our equipment and improvements is going up also by a significant number. Most of that for the supplies and the equipment and improvements pieces, like I just stated, were things that we did budget for and anticipated spending in fiscal year 25, and some of that's fiscal year 24, but we just did not spend those things, and we're going to be spending those in fiscal year 26, and we have the ability to spend in that way. So all of those improvements, it does vary year to year. So in addition to running the parking meters on the street, we also have large structures. So we operate about 15 garages and lots in combination all across the city. Big outdoor structures, they have those capital improvements that are budgeted out year by year. So again, if we do a big project with one of our garages, let's say 2024, it might have some capital costs that are smaller for the next 3 years, and then they increase year 4 and 5, go back down. So you'll see that from time to time, especially as you look at our historic budgets. Next slide. All right, so this one just breaks it down a little bit by our operations. So you can see those garages that we have here. We don't list the lots in particular because that goes into the parking meters piece. So a lot of those lots are metered lots. So you have your garages. We don't separate the lots, but we roll that up into the meter. So these are our parking revenue projections for next year. We do like to take a conservative approach to our parking projections. So you will see most of the things either stay the same, or you'll see some significant reductions, or semi-significant reductions, I would say. So parking meters, we see that going down a little bit. To add some color to that, we are seeing a lot more, and we're still trending in the right direction, but what we've seen is more people paying for the meter as opposed to getting tickets, which we like. We would rather have folks pay the meter, pay for the time, as opposed to getting a parking ticket. And I do credit that to the upgrades that we've made in the parking division, the technology that we've been able to implement, and we have some new technology that we're going to be able to implement to make the parking experience for residents, people who are attending events downtown, making that as simple as possible. So we'll be doing that. You'll see some significant decreases in the garages from revenue, and a lot of that we have monthly parkers. So ever since COVID, a trend has been shrinking offices and office space downtown, which means fewer master leases. So we do anticipate and know some of our parkers who are going to be either leaving or having a more reduced footprint when it comes to monthly parking. So we're accounting for that. Of course, we're looking to replenish that, but I know that is not just single-handedly the parking division, but more so what downtown and the downtown area looks like, and development coming to downtown. So we're optimistic on what can happen, but from a revenue projection standpoint, we did want to account for it. Next slide. Cool. Repair and replace. So I talked a little bit about what costs exist. So these are all the garages that we have, and repair and replace are essentially our maintenance budget. So scheduled, budgeted expenses for those lots and garages, maintenance and upkeep. And you can see from 2023 to 2025. So we always present the 3-year projection of what we're spending. Next slide. Debt balance. So I'll preface by saying we haven't built any new garages. We have some projects on the horizon. We haven't built any garages, but in order to build a garage, we usually issue a revenue bond. And so it's a debt instrument, and then we pay that down over time. So having not issued any new bonds to finance any new builds, you would want to see this line trending downward, and it is. So I won't say too much more about that. Parking reserves. So you want to see this continue to go up. So in addition to that 40% that we send to general revenue, we also like to make sure that we maintain those reserves. Again, we are funded by the revenue that we make. We do not get tax dollars. I'll say again, we don't get tax dollars or public dollars to be able to run the parking division. So it's very important to have an adequate amount of reserves to be able to fund new projects, be able to navigate in tough economic times, and also to be able to support the city. You will see a significant dip, and I know I've spoken to this before, but we're on the slide, but you'll see a significant dip in 2020, 2021, or really 2019 to 2021, and that is when the then 28-person board voted to remove some reserves from the parking division to the tune of about $15 million, right before COVID, which made it very tough to want to be nimble in that time, but we did manage to not lay off any employees, operate very tight to the budget, or as tight as the budget as we can, and make it out alive, so to speak. But I'm happy to see that our reserves continue to grow, in addition to our contributions going back to the general fund continue to grow, which you'll see on the next slide. Oh no, I was wrong. Well, can we go to the slide after this? Yeah. Yeah, the next one. Is it on there? Mm-hmm. No? Okay, you can go back one. Sorry, I thought the chart was on the next slide. It'll come up. A little bit of the value add, and again, I won't belabor the point too much, but a couple of things that we do at the parking division to be able to not only add value to the city, but just improve the relationship between your constituents in your wards and the city as a whole, because we can say parking division, we can say recorder of deeds office, the list goes on, and we understand that, but oftentimes people in the city are just interacting with the city. So I take a personal point of pride to make sure that we are being responsive to the issues and problems that folks are having in the city, no matter what ward they're in or what office they interact in. Want to make sure that their engagement and interaction with my 111 employees, as well as our office, is a positive one because it reflects well in the city. But we are frequent attendees at job fairs, all hands on deck events, resource fairs, community events, and we regularly offer parking amnesty, and we offer it to the tune of about we advertise $100 off your parking balance. We have a lot of people come and get their tickets forgiven. We do understand that it's tough economic times, and like I said earlier, the goal is that people park lawfully and then also pay for the meter for their time. But if we can avoid everyone getting a ticket, we like that. And if people make a mistake or forget that their has doubled or tripled, we do want to offer some services to be able to let people know that we're not just a big government building, but we are also people, and we understand and we can be forgiving. So we have ticket forgiveness. So we do that from time to time, and we started a long time ago, but really ramped it up during COVID to encourage folks to get vaccinated and go to events that we were having, and also anytime there is an event for information, community resources, we feel like it is an extra incentive to get people out there, and we want people to engage with the wonderful things that are going on in the city. We also operate the juror shuttle, and you'll see the numbers on the next slide about what the numerical value add that is. So we've been operating that for quite a while, and we do that at no cost to the jury, to the courts. Next slide. So I like numbers, we'll put numbers behind it. So waiving fees to support, about a little less than $500,000. Parking permit programs and parking amnesty, $1.3 million in benefit. Foregone revenue due to conservative parking rates, I could talk about this for a while, but $10 million. So I won't even talk about that. But I will say, we have parking tickets that are $20 in the city. Some people say that our margins are so slim and we're not making enough revenue. However, we could be Chicago and charge $65 for a parking ticket, but the goal is not to make the parking division rich. The goal is to make sure that people have safe places to park, there is parking availability, and that we have enough in reserves and good financial standing to be able to support new developments and new projects that require parking across the city to add that economic value to the city. So that's the goal. We have had to raise rates and raise ticket prices, but we're still the lowest in the country. And then you can see the direct contributions to the general fund, and that's just from 2019. And then that juror shuttle service over that time, including the vans, maintenance, upkeep, what it would cost if that were contracted out or added to the city budget, because that's the other thing we have to understand is that's $1.4 million that the city taxpayers don't have to pay to operate essentially a city service. I didn't write down a total, but I'll let you do the math. General fund contributions, I apologize for it being super small, but next year we'll only do the last 5 years. But I already talked about the collective general fund contributions, but you can see it from the last 13 years. And then just as of last year, I think it's 845, but yeah, so that would be 845,000 back to general revenue. Next slide. Cool. Technology, something that we're always looking to upgrade. So this is actually a slide from last year talking about what we wanted to do, and we did all those things. We're in the final stages of security at the couples garage, which is much needed with all the activity that happens, one in the downtown area, but particularly by the wheelhouse and the venues along that corridor. We're working with partners in the Grove to increase security. We wanted to make sure, and we know that safety and security is a top priority for folks in St. Louis, so we want to make sure when folks are parking on city garages and lots, they feel safe and are safe. Next slide. I talked about the development. We work. Developers often approach us. People think that parking makes so much money, and that is technically true, but the margins are slim, especially when it comes to building garages. The maintenance and upkeep costs tend to really slim those margins. So when developers are looking at new developments, it's very hard for them to get the financing there. So anywhere the city can step in again to support a project, the better. And so we're just trying to make sure, again, we're as financially healthy as possible to be able to make those projects go forward. The other thing that I've been working on for quite some time in collaboration with other city offices is getting more Department of Energy funding. And I know funding in that area has dried up a little bit under the current presidential administration, but we're always working because if we can get grants to subsidize our city being more environmentally friendly and energy forward, the better. Yep, and then also dynamic and responsive parking. I know the chair and I have worked on standing up a parking permit program in the Forest Park Southeast neighborhood. The Alderwoman from the 7th Ward has gotten her approval, and we're working with her on another parking district as well. And these are the first two. So we're always looking to iterate and make things better for our residents. Next slide. Oh, that's it. Hopefully I beat my time.
Thank you, Treasurer. We really appreciate you being here today. We'll go through the committee really quickly to see if anyone has any questions. We'll start with, is Alderwoman Boyd joined us? Okay, we'll start with Alderwoman Boyd. Alderwoman, are you on?
I know, I hear him. I was like, I'm sorry.
No worries.
I don't know why I didn't have the Zoom link. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. I'm listening. I'm sorry, but I listened to the end of your presentation, Treasure Lane. And so I was trying to understand, because I saw where you had said that you had reduced charges for people that were applying for jobs or coming down the slate. Is that correct?
Yes, we also do that too. So when there are job fairs downtown, it might be on a weekday, it might be on a weekend, but the garages, they're weekend events, so there is a charge to that. So we often work with Slate, other city departments, Department of Human Services. So when those things are happening, we either turn off the meters or allow them to park for free in the garages.
Okay, and that's probably great. I guess my question is anybody promoting that to let people know if they're coming down, and if they come, or they do they have to show something to show that they came to apply for a job, or?
Not usually. So to the first part, the promotion, yes. So usually Slate will put it on their flyer. With the resource fairs, they'll note that there's free parking available and direct people to those parking areas. As far as do they need to notify, it depends. So if it's a busy Saturday, for example, we'll try to reserve spots so that there is a way for people to know they're parking here, or we offer validations to the office. If it's a less busy Saturday, we just lift the gate and instruct our parking attendees that are working there that there is an event. There's free parking available so that they can go in and out without even have to worry about opening and closing the gates.
Okay, and you do have your presentation in the drive?
Yes, it is in the drive.
Okay, because I'm sorry, like I said, I couldn't get on it, so that'll give me an opportunity to read, and if I have some other questions, then I can ask. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Alderwoman ClarkHubbard.
Thank you, Treasurer Lane. Thank you, Alderwoman Schweitzer, for bringing this forward. This is a great presentation. I always learn more about the programming and everything that you all are doing. Plus, you have one of my favorite constituents in the Treasurer's office, my Alderman, Frank Williamson. But I did, again, just want to commend you for the work that you're doing, and also publicly thank you and your office staff for the all hands on deck that you referred to in your presentation that reached our constituents in our neighborhoods that were hit by the tornado relief efforts that the Treasurer's office has done. We see you and we appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Devoti.
Treasurer Lane, it's always good to see you. I think you were one of the first folks to reach out and ask me if I had any questions after I took office, and I truly appreciate both your as well as your office's education of me. So thank you very much. Also, this presentation was wonderful. Thank you for the education. I would be remiss if I didn't ask a follow-up question with respect to your office's contract with the sheriff to provide event security. Could you please educate us about that arrangement?
Yes. So how many years ago did you start that? 2021. Okay. So in 2021, you saw the slide about the security improvement. So we used to contract out security, and it wasn't really keeping us secure. So the partners, sometimes officers would show up, sometimes they wouldn't. And that doesn't help when you have, again, garage structures, cars being broken into. So we made that decision to really invest, put our revenues back into investing in security, and we got full-time staff for our garages and lots. We also support with security at in different districts as well. So as we continued to build that staff, we left the old contract and we contracted with the sheriff's office to provide event security. So what they will do is during Cardinals games, Blues games, they will be at the ticket booths to make sure that our parking attendants who are taking and receiving cash and payments are safe, and also help with the direction of traffic. So they've been doing that for us for about 4 years.
Are they, I trust they're located at particular structures, is that right?
Yes, so they will be at the Keel Garage over by where the Blues play, at City Hall, and at the Justice Garage across the street.
Understood. And what is the remaining term on the contract?
We are currently done with the contract and looking at options for a renewal.
So at this point, there is no contract in place?
No. Oh, did we finalize it?
There is.
You can come up to the mic.
I can just repeat it. So yes, so we recently finalized the contract.
This is educational for all of us, right? Do you know, as you are here, what the term of the new contract is?
Sure. May I approach? I'm Shirley Ruchik. I'm Chief of Staff for the office. Hi, I'm Shirley Ruchik. I'm Chief of Staff for the office. Thank you for allowing us to appear before you today and answer questions. We do have a contract. I believe it's a year, but all of our contracts, we do include 30-day out. So we can terminate the contract upon 30 days notice.
And do you know, and I know I'm catching you cold on this, but when was the contract executed? When was it finalized?
Maybe a month ago.
Okay. So do you believe that we are either at or very close to the end of that 30-day opt-out period?
So we have at any time during the contract, we can give them 30 days notice and terminate the contract. We can also not schedule them to work, if that makes sense.
I understand. Okay. Fair enough. And the contract is essentially a one-year term.
Correct.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And again, thank you for coming.
For sure.
Thank you, Alderman. I don't have any more questions, so Schweitzer, you are, first, do we have anybody signed up for public comment?
No public comment.
With that, Alderwoman Schweitzer, you are recognized to close.
Thank you so much. One of the things that we did not talk about in the presentation that I just wanted to give Treasurer Lane a minute or two to talk about very briefly is the Office of Financial Empowerment, which is funded by the Parking Division funds.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So I believe the number is a little over $500,000. So for our Office of Financial Empowerment, again, what we do is provide financial empowerment services to anyone in the city of St. Louis, really the region of St. Louis. So what that is financial education, and I say whole home financial literacy. So all the way from kindergarten all the way to the adultiest of adults. So with that, we have our youth program called the College Kids Program. We start a bank account for every student in the city of St. Louis and put the first $50 in that account as long as they attend a free public school. And then they attend one of our many events throughout the year, throughout their years in the K through 12 system, and they earn more money as they learn about their accounts. You can visit our website, STL College Kids, and see our annual report to get more of the details and stats, or visit us on Instagram, stlcollegekids.org. But I could talk to you for a long time about families who have opened up bank accounts for the first time because their students do, families who are now engaging in direct deposit for the first time because of the financial education, and so much more. So in addition to the amount of money in the accounts for their post-secondary goals, it's creating a culture of financial education and building good whole home habits. With that, we have a director of our Office of Financial Empowerment. We have a College Kids manager. We will have 2 financial empowerment coaches, an office coordinator, and then we also regularly get interns and practicum students to help with the building out of a lot of our curriculum and programs. For example, one of the practicum students that we have now has been implemental in the second stage of our Take a Right Turn program, but it's a program to support city residents with not being caught in the cycle of going to court for not having insurance, but helping them to, 1, build a budget, 2, understand the importance, and then get the resources to have regular insurance, and not just 30-day insurance that they no longer have, but have regular insurance built into what they do. So in addition to just talking about budgets and things like that, we also look at how the financial component and financial literacy can be a measure of safety and security and upward mobility for people in our city and our staff too.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure we talked a little bit more about that because it's such an important thing that the Treasurer's Office offers. So with that, unless there are any more questions, I would appreciate a do pass recommendation for Board Bill 22.
Thank you. At this time, I will accept a motion for a do pass recommendation for Board Bill 22.
Second.
Moved by the Alderman from the 5th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 10th. Do I hear a call? Well, we can't do previous roll, Madam Clerk, could you please call roll?
Sorry, Madam Clerk, can I be added as a co-sponsor?
So noted. Alderwoman Boyd,
I truly apologize. I can't vote on this because I wasn't here to hear it. And so I apologize because I was having the trouble getting in. So I'll have to abstain.
Alderwoman ClarkHubbard,
Aye.
Alderwoman Vice Chair Schweitzer. Aye. Alderman Devoti,
Aye.
Chair Browning.
Aye.
We have 4 aye votes.
Thank you. And with that, Board Bill 22 has been passed out of committee with a do pass recommendation. While you're up there, Alderwoman Schweitzer, I will recognize you for Board Bill number 30.
Board Bill 30, you said?
That's, yep, Board Bill 30.
Thank you, Chairman Browning, and thank you all for hearing the presentation from the Treasurer's Office. Board Bill 30 is a bill in directing the Director of Streets to install speed humps at various locations in the First Ward and in Carondelet Park. This one is a little unique for my ward because normally we do a petition process, but in this situation, the Holly Hills Special Business District did a traffic study with TrailNet and CBB, which is an engineering firm, to recommend various locations for traffic calming throughout that district, and they will actually be paying for these speed humps and traffic calming measures. But because of the process we have established here at the board, we still need to go through the board bill process to actually install the speed humps. So what I've done, because we didn't have the petition, is my office sent out letters to everyone on these streets just to let them know about this board bill, about the option for speed humps on their block. And if anyone had serious concerns about that, they could reach out. And otherwise, we would move forward with the board bill. To date, out of the 50 people who we sent these letters to, only one person has said that they don't like speed humps. but everybody else has been very excited about the speed hump. And this is also the result of a very long public engagement process that Holly Hill Special Business District did along with TrailNet. And if you spent any time in Holly Hills, you know how engaged these neighbors are and how active they are in their community. So I really look forward to helping them realize the goals of their traffic calming plan.
Thank you. And we'll go through committee to see if anyone has any questions. Alderwoman Boyd?
There's not enough space to leave a message. To send a message.
No questions, thank you.
Alderwoman ClarkHubbard?
No questions, thank you.
Alderman Devoti? No questions. Thank you. I also don't have any questions, and I know Alderwoman Schweitzer has no questions about her own bill. So with that, is there any public testimony on this?
We have none.
So with that, you're recognized to close.
Thank you so much, Chairman Browning and members of the committee. I hope to earn your support today for a due pass recommendation of Board Bill 30. Thank you.
I'll accept a motion for a due pass recommendation for Board Bill number 30.
Second.
So moved.
So it's moved by the Alderman from the 5th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 10th. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Aye.
I need your camera on, Alderwoman. Alderwoman ClarkHubbard.
Aye.
Vice Chair Schweitzer. Aye. Alderman Devoti. Aye. Chair Browning.
Aye.
We have 5 aye votes.
Congratulations, Alderwoman. Board Bill number 30 has been passed out of committee. At this time, we're going to move back to item number 1, and Alderman Devoti, you are now recognized on Board Bill number 16.
Chairman Browning, members of the committee. Board Bill 16 is an ordinance directing the Director of Streets to install speed humps to calm the flow of traffic on the 52 and 5300 blocks of Lansdowne. New to the 5th Ward, we did initiate a petition process. This is something new within the ward. My predecessor, my understanding, did not do this, but I did. And the folks along these 2 blocks, there was overwhelming support, which led to the filing of this particular board bill. For what it's worth, these 2 blocks run the southern edge of Booter School. Booter School is one of our large public elementary schools in the ward, and these humps are well needed in this particular area. So with that, I would entertain any questions.
Thank you. We'll go through committee really quickly. Alderwoman Boyd.
I'm sorry, no, I have no questions, thank you.
Alderwoman ClarkHubbard.
I have a very, very important question about Board Bill number 16. Alderman Devoti, is this your first board bill?
It is.
Yay! Congratulations.
Let's hope I don't screw this up.
No, you won't. You won't.
It's a very safe thing to do for your first board bill. Alderwoman Schweitzer.
Thank you. No questions. I spend a lot of time in this area, so I know on the side street people do tend to go really fast off of Mackland. So I can imagine coming off of Mackland right next to an elementary school, very important to have traffic calming features. So thank you to you and your constituents. And I'm sure Thora had a hand in it for getting this done. Thank you so much.
And I also don't have any questions. I'll just say when I was going around promoting the Department of Transportation ballot measure, I heard from constituents of the 5th about concerns on Lansdowne. So thank you for being attentive to those needs, and congratulations on your first board bill. Do we have any public comment?
We have none.
Yes, the bill only deals with 2 blocks of Lansdowne. Yes, ma'am.
And with that, Well, as that, Alderman, you are recognized to close.
Well, I would just ask for your consideration and a due pass out of committee on Board Bill 16.
And with that, I'll accept a due pass recommendation for Board Bill number 16,
So moved.
Second,
moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th,
previous roll.
seconded by the Alderwoman from the 1st, and a call for previous roll from the Alderwoman from the 1st. Hearing no objection, congratulations, Alderman.
Good deal. Thank you.
And with that, I'm going to hand the chairmanship over to my vice chair, Alderwoman Schweitzer.
Thank you. I do expect to need the gavel. Okay, so recognizing Chairman Browning on Board Bill number 26.
Thank you. Well, Board Bill number 26 and Board Bill number 27 are both street vacations having to do with the Clinton Peabody, I don't know if I can call it a renovation as much as a complete overhaul, and it is very exciting. This is in the 8th Ward. You might be wondering why the 9th Ward Alderman is doing this, and that's because we don't currently have an 8th Ward Alderperson. So with that, we are looking to, with Board Bill number 26, vacate the LaSalle Street between Dillon and St Ange, and we have the Housing Authority here to speak on this, as well as the next board bill. So with that, I'll invite them up, and if you could please introduce yourself and your name and position and anything you'd like to share on this.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Alderman Browning, for working on this bill for us in this vacancy of Ward 8. And then I did want to introduce myself, Stephanie Coe. I am the developer for Clinton Peabody, and my organization is a nonprofit affordable housing development organization called Preservation of Affordable Housing.
Hi, everyone. My name is Naisha Tobias, and I am the St. Louis Housing Authority representative for this project.
So for this particular development, my organization was selected by a housing authority as well as a selection committee of residents as well as other stakeholders. We were selected in 2022 and have been working with residents since then to really activate and develop a master redevelopment plan. So you can go to the next slide. So this is the existing site plan. As you can see, it's a little wonky in terms of the streets. The red line shows the zigzag of current LaSalle. And then you can also see further south, there are some streets that just end at certain times, start at certain times. So it's certainly not predictable. It's not trauma-informed. It's also not very safe either because you don't have those lines of sight. And so as part of this development plan, we worked with residents to really develop not only housing plans, but also how to improve the infrastructure. So you can go to the next slide. So for this site plan, you can see, first of all, in the purple at the top, that is at the first phase. And that first phase is going to be hopefully starting at the beginning of next year. We are fully financed for that phase. It'll be 89 units out of 350. So currently there are about 350 units on site. It will be 300 units still. However, it'll be modern design. Residents were very adamant they wanted the current buildings demolished and to see new modern architecture, and so that is the plan. Something else that you'll see is there's a central park and again a realigned street grid. You can go to the next slide. So for the infrastructure scope, we do have LaSalle as a realigned street. We also have some future plans just to give a sneak peek of what we may be coming back to this committee for in the future, in future years, future phases, for other street realignments and connectivity. Another important piece that's come up in the planning efforts has been acknowledging the importance of connecting Clinton Peabody with the surrounding neighborhoods as well, rather than incredibly siloed as it is. Thank you for that cue. So for the proposed vacations, we have LaSalle Avenue. So that is what Alderman Browning mentioned earlier between St Ange and Dillon. So this right here, vacation would be new construction. And they would be, again, reconstructing the street a little further south so it fully connects to east and west. Something you'll note on the right is you'll see Dillon Avenue. So that is specifically a right-of-way. And the reason we're asking for that is currently our surveyor found out that the right-of-way was not consistent throughout the development. So that means that if we followed the current right-of-way, the building setback would be different on every block, and we certainly don't want that. We, again, want that predictability and that continuity. So that's why we're requesting for a right-of-way vacation for Dillon, and then on LaSalle, the street realignment, which would be a street vacation. Something to note here is the street vacation would be rededicated to the city after the construction is completed. We estimate that would be around 2027. And next slide. So for this one, you can just see what the future development would look like after the vacation. So you'll see where the buildings are currently set back. They are up to the curb. They also are showing the parking in of the development. So really trying to keep to that urban design. What you'll see on the right are renderings of the building. And if you look to the bottom right, that actually are the walk-up buildings that would be off of Dillon as well as St Ange. So that's what you would be, where those vacations are located. And then for the timeline, so, we got started on this in 2023. It's a long process. So right now we're really looking forward to getting the environmental zoning approvals. The street vacation is certainly a part of that. We hope to start demolition in July, again, pending all of these approvals. And then that would be about a 4 or 5 month process for the first set of demolition where this first phase is going to be located. And then after that, we should start construction again, hopefully by the beginning of next year if everything goes according to plan. And that's it, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Coe, for coming and presenting that to us today. We'll move through the committee for questions, unless we have any public comment first.
We have no comment.
Okay, wonderful. Alderwoman Boyd.
No, I have no questions. This seems like this has been a long time coming, so thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you, Alderwoman ClarkHubbard.
No questions as well. I've been following this project. It's exciting to see. Thank you all for your work.
Alderman Devoti.
Thank you for the presentation. This is new to me, and this is exciting. Very cool. Thank you for making the presentation. No questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here again. This timeline is just incredible. It's amazing to see how far you've come. And, sometimes these board bills there's just a small part of the overall project. A street vacation in the long scheme of things is so small, but it's great for us because we get to hear the update. And Stephanie, if you don't mind, I know we've known each other since we were in our early 20s. And so I've known how hard you work and how much you care about the city of St. Louis for 15 years, I think, is how long we've pretty much known each other. So I just want to say thank you for all you've done for the city, all you will do. It's incredible, and you're just very appreciated. So we're very happy to have you here. Anything else you want to add, Alderman Browning?
No, you said it well. I think this is a small part of this project, and I'm really happy just to be able to have this small part in it because this is the kind of thing that our city needs to be doing all over the place. So really excited to move this forward, and I ask for your favorable consideration on Board Bill number 26.
Thank you. With that, I will entertain a motion for a due pass recommendation of Board Bill 26.
So moved.
Second.
Previous row.
There's been a motion by the Alderwoman from the 10th, a second from the Alderman from the 5th, a call for previous roll from the Alderman from the 13th. Any objection to previous roll? Hearing no objection, we have passed Board Bill 26 from committee with a due pass recommendation. Alderman Browning, you are recognized on Board Bill 27.
Thank you. Board Bill 27 is similar to Board Bill 26 in that we are vacating the street, but this time we're doing Dillon Drive. I'm happy to answer any questions, but the presentation should fit for both of these bills.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think you covered this in the presentation, so I'll just go through questions. Alderman Boyd.
Hold on, I'm coming. I got to let you see my camera because I don't want Rosalind fussing at me.
Fair enough.
Okay, no questions.
Thank you. Alderman ClarkHubbard.
No questions, thank you.
Alderman Devoti.
No questions.
Also, no questions. Alderman Browning, you're recognized to close.
Thank you. Ask for your favorable consideration.
Thank you. I will accept a motion for a due pass recommendation of Board Bill. Before I do that, there's no comments on this one?
No comments.
Okay, thank you. Now I will entertain a motion for a due pass recommendation on Board Bill number 7.
Only one of them is alive.
So moved.
Second.
Can I get a call for previous roll? It's moved by the Alderwoman from the 13th, seconded by the Alderman from the 5th. There's been a call for previous roll from the Alderman from the 9th. Any objection to previous roll? Hearing no objection, we have passed Board Bill 27 with the due pass recommendation. I believe that is all the board bills for today, so I'll turn it back over to Chairman Browning for the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. With that, we are now going to move on to resolutions for review. We have none, so we'll dispose of that item and move down to item number 6, committee discussions. We have one committee discussion for today, and that is our wonderful St. Louis Water Department. Director Patel is here from the Water Division, and he has a presentation for us. Director, you are recognized for your presentation of your annual report.
All right. Thank you, Chair Browning. Rest of the members of the committee, my name is Neeraj Patel. I'm the Director of Public Utilities. So I'm here to present our annual report, fiscal year 2025. So I've been up here before talking about the needs of the Water Division. The constraints with our current rates and the budget, and how there's older infrastructure. Wanted to take a little bit of a different direction here today and talk about the importance of the work that we're proposing, that we would like to do to improve the infrastructure that we own, operate, maintain for the city of St. Louis. So a day without water, what would that be like? How would it change how you approach that day? What would you have to do differently? It's something we don't think about very often. You go to the tap, you turn it on, the water comes out. So, it doesn't happen by magic. It takes a lot of moving parts and things to work correctly. It takes a lot of people who are water professionals that work hard every day to ensure that that water does come out of the tap and it's safe to drink when you call for it. So, we have a network of treatment plants and reservoirs and water mains, transmission mains. Most of the system is out of sight, out of mind. You don't see it. It doesn't affect you like the potholes in the roads and the other infrastructure things that we see, crumbling bridges. So this is a common problem across the United States. Major cities are dealing with rising costs for emergencies associated with failing infrastructure. And, these repair costs, do counteract our ability to go out there and do projects towards capital. So when that happens, we're not putting these dollars to work for long-term investments. So every dollar that we spend into the infrastructure pays itself back, manyfold. And we can stop spending money on emergency repairs of infrastructure that's failing and out of date, and put it towards long-lasting infrastructure that will benefit the city of St. Louis for decades to come. Next slide, please. So this is a system map. It shows by color the pressure zones that we operate. We have 3 pressure zones in the city. It also shows that we have a treatment plant out west in Chesterfield, Howard Bend plant. It's not to scale, but we have approximately 15 miles of transmission mains that bring treated water to the city of St. Louis along the western border there from that treatment plant. And then we have the Chain of Rocks water treatment plant at the north end of the city there. It's older, it's from the 1890s, and it does have about twice the capacity of the Howard Bend plant. Next slide, please. So what I've put out here to show you guys is a comparison of the average water bills for flat and metered service, both prior to the rate increase and then after the iterative consecutive 2-year rate increase of 20% and 20%. So as you can see, for the flat rate, this is based on average component counts. So we took a look at all of the single-family units out there and used those averages to come up with what the bill would be. Since these properties vary by components and attributes, we wanted to present something consistent. And it does show that we had a $24 a month approximate water bill prior to the increase, and then we had a $5 and $6 increase associated with those 20% that were passed. For the metered customers, you can see it's slightly lower. Again, the flat rate customers can use as much water as they without bill fluctuations, and they typically don't end up seeing the impact of leaks or things of that nature on their bills. It's very consistent, reliable expense that they have to plan for. For the metered customers, it is slightly less, but that's based on a 5/8-inch meter, 5,000 gallons a month. These are metrics that are used by other utilities when they talk about their rate increases, the impact of those rate increases. And as you can see, it's approximately $4 first year 20% increase, and then the second increase. Next slide, please. So this is a diagram that's on our website. It shows the typical water connection, a little bit hard to see, but the water main is typically out in the middle of the street, and then you have a service line that comes off of a tap of that main, and then we have a curb stop valve that's typically in the tree lawn area, and then the rest of the line coming into the home. These lines are owned by the customers. Our responsibility doesn't exactly end at the main because we do have the service line insurance program where we can cover damage or repairs between the main and that curb stop valve in the public right-of-way to address issues. On the right of that, you see an example of a metered connection. The only difference there is that there is a meter setter and meter between the curb stop valve and the service valve in the home. So we do have 12,600 metered accounts, 77,992 flat rate accounts, and 3 wholesale accounts. These are just snapshot counts. These fluctuate over time, but we are seeing a slight decline in the flat rate accounts and a consistent number in the metered accounts. We do offer customers who would like to switch to a meter that option, although they will have to pay to put infrastructure out in the tree lawn to receive that meter. We purchase the meter, install it, and maintain it, but there is a cost associated if they don't have a meter receiving pit already to set that up, and that is a cost borne by the customer. Next slide, please. We do have a protocol for shutting water accounts. That happens for various reasons. Customers will call us to let us know that they're moving out and need their account shut off. If they need an emergency shut due to some kind of issue, either internal plumbing or out in their yard. We do also have to shut when we have delinquent accounts. We're not doing that now, but it is something that we have done historically as part of the protocol. We do give notice when we're going to do that. And then if there is an emergency in the public right-of-way, we are shut for that. We provide billing data to MSD. It's part of a contract to allow them to do their billing services. And they handle how they bill their rates completely separately of the water division. So we will notify them of issues when the customer is closing an account or opening an account. That shows up in that billing file that we transfer over there. And then otherwise, they handle their own operation, their own billing, their own rate structure. I do have a bullet in there about the moratorium that was instituted. We are still not shutting accounts currently, but we do have a customer assistance program that we are working on to assist those with issues paying their water bills and to get back on track. So for our wholesale customers, I mentioned we do have 3 wholesale customers. Just a comparison, we did sell less water this year than we did last year. This does change over time, but these wholesale customers operate their own water systems. They purchase treated water from us as needed, and if they're making improvements to their plant capacity, doing maintenance work that requires them to use more, we'll see those fluctuations come through. So it does generate an amount of revenue for us for the sale of that water. You can see approximately $6 million in FY24, and then due to the lower amount, projected $4.6 million this fiscal year. As part of the annual update, we did provide a list of projects that were completed in FY25 or in progress in FY25 as well. These are projects that sometimes cross over fiscal years, but overall, that list is over $20 million. That is out of our revenues that we receive for billing for the sale of water to our customers. So as an enterprise, our revenues support our expenses and our operations. We do have that list on our website under regulations for ordinance, the annual update that's there. Generally speaking, our projects that are in progress or completed surround these 3 categories. It's the water treatment plants, and you can see a list of the types of infrastructure and facilities that will have projects ongoing to support that, our distribution system, and our administrative projects as well. The Water Master Plan. So I can finally tell you all that we have an executed contract. So it happened recently. The contract fee is $1.275 million. It's anticipated to take a year. So we are planning on kicking that project off very soon here. It's a comprehensive assessment. So it takes a look at water production, water distribution, and some of the business functions as well. So it will take a look at finances and funding, and also do a little bit on our hydraulic model, do a little bit to forecast demand projections for over the next 20 years. It'll also take a look at regulatory changes and compliance and the impact of that, and then ultimately come up with a capital renewal plan and a cost estimate based on all of the various projects that they'll list in that plan. It will take a look at the impact of that cost of that project list to the water rates, but it'll look at the current rate structure. When it comes to changing the rate structure, we're talking about a different type of study, a study that we're committed to that I'll go over in the next slide, but it's not going to develop that cost of service study as part of the master plan. Some of the outcomes of the master plan may inform that. So it will, though, come up with the impact with the current structure. So next slide, please. So we are required to do a rate sufficiency study as part of our indentures for our bonds that we have. So we did have the rate increase July 1, 2023. When you have a rate increase, that starts a clock for 2 years that you don't have to do a cost or a rate sufficiency study, but that time is coming up now. So we are going to take a look at adding that cost of service study scope into the rate sufficiency study. Similar consultants will do this type of work, so we're trying to combine these 2 efforts into one. We do have an estimated cost between $75,000 and $150,000 for that cost of service study. So we are going to integrate that, in with that. So the master plan will provide the 20-year time frame capital investment plan, though. Next slide, please. I just wanted to talk a little bit about non-priority projects. So as part of the annual update, we have a priority project list. This project is very important, but it's an example of a project that is not necessarily priority, but it is an efficiency project. It can reduce our annual expenses and have a short payback time, These are the types of projects we'd like to do, in addition to that priority list. So this is a lime handling and processing facility improvement. It's our most expensive treatment chemical, over $6 million annually, and the existing facility is original to the plant, and a new facility would be located closer to one of our newer softening basins. Those basins were put in 1997, and so the lime handling facility that's current was put in the 60s before that. But one thing that it would do is, automate these systems. It would provide more efficiency in the slaking process of that chemical, resulting in less lime that we would have to purchase. So, that could be a savings in excess of $1.5 million a year. The existing system is labor intensive. There's long feed lines that have to be maintained and cleaned. It requires overtime, so we can see additional savings there as well. Next slide, please. So I mentioned the master plan is going to take a look at the regulatory changes that are coming that we're dealing with. One of them is our discharge permit. So we have to do a study to do a review of the way we treat water, the way we discharge the residuals, the solids that settle out of that water. That study is going to cost approximately $300,000, something that is in our plan within the next few years here. We also have the revised lead regulations. So these regulations, I've talked to you guys about them before, but in the city of St. Louis, we have older infrastructure, we have older water service lines owned by the customers. Lead was a popular material that was used, and it remains in the system now. So we do have optimized treatment technique that we apply. Our testing, our regulatory compliance testing shows very low levels of lead, well below the action levels established by the EPA. And right now what we're doing is working on our inventory. So we had a grant-funded project of $255,000. There was a matching component there, but we basically took a look at all of our existing records to create our initial lead service line inventory. And now we have a field testing project that's going to go out and pothole in the tree lawns to do a visual inspection and identify that the data in those historical tap card records is correct. It will also have an education and outreach component where we will educate the public, the customers, about the dangers of lead, what it is that we're trying to do, and also do an in-home inspection for those customers as well. So we do have a replacement cost estimate right now. We're still improving our inventory, but it's expensive work, $10,000 per service line replacement, and we may have 40,000 service lines, so over $400 million. The next item is forever chemicals. So these are PFAS. We don't have them detected in our water. We're very lucky for that. The treatment infrastructure that is required to handle that dangerous contaminant are expensive. And so we're lucky our source water is very good and it does not have this contaminant in it so far in our testing. So we do test for over 150 possible contaminants. We do have two labs at our treatment plants, and we have performance evaluations that are required to maintain certification on those labs. And so we've passed those. We have certified labs that treat for these contaminants every day. Our consumer confidence report is another report that we provide for our customers to talk about the testing that we do, talk about the levels of these contaminants found in our water. You can find that report on our website. There is a revision to that rule that is going to require us to do 2 times a year updates of that consumer confidence report, and then also provide some language translation services and support.
Water leak wasn't.
So this is a chart showing our water main breaks. This is looking at 3 fiscal years, and you can see there's a seasonal component to these breaks. So it typically happens when the ground temperature changes drastically. So in the dry summer and then in the winter as well. So one of the things is we don't have a way to measure water loss. Since we have flat rates for our residential customers, that makes it very challenging to do. So we do have tools and techniques that we can employ to find leaks. That is one of the priority projects that we have, a $5 million project to assess our transmission conduits from our Howard Bend treatment plant to the city limits, and that has a $5 million cost associated with it. We average about 340 main breaks a year. That's about 26 breaks per 100 miles. Just to show some of the national averages there, 15 breaks per 100 miles is the average. So we are above that. That shows that we have older infrastructure that needs replacement. The national average for leakage rate is 16%, and so this is water that is being produced but not being consumed. This chart here shows our delinquency rate over the years. And as you can see, it's been going up. Obviously, COVID and the pandemic, affected the ability of our customers to pay for this bill and expense. So it has slowed down, but we are looking to turn that around and start collecting on these delinquent balances. That's part of the processes that we're talking to the mayor's office with, trying to put a strategy together to approach that. Next slide, please. This just shows a water account write-off year over year. So when we have a balance that we have attempted to collect on and are unable to collect on, there is a procedure that we do to get that balance and account off of our books. The numbers are, not low, but also not that high. You can see $42,000 fiscal year 24. Talked a little bit about the federal and state grants. The two projects at the top that are ARPA funded, one of them is that customer assistance program. Again, we're very close to being able to announce that program and roll it out to be able to assist our customers that are having trouble paying their bills. The other is $1.2 million for capital improvements. These are a valve replacement and some water main replacement work out in our system. Below that, we have bipartisan infrastructure law projects. Most of them are around the lead service lines. So I mentioned previously the completed project that had $200,000 in grant component and then $55,000 in matching fund component. And then the current project that we are awarded and kicking off, that is the field investigations, that's $633,000, and that's 100% grant. We also are looking after updating and improving our inventory to do replacement plan work and replacements. Again, those will be 100% grant funded by the bipartisan infrastructure law through the state of Missouri. Next slide. So I wanted to talk a little bit about our successes as well. Both Chain of Rocks and Howard Bend water treatment plants are 20-year Director Award winners from the Partnership for Safe Water. That is a program that utilities can participate in voluntarily to optimize their processes, to produce superior water quality that exceeds the regulatory requirements. It's a peer-reviewed process, and we've successfully been a part of that effort for over 20 years. We have no notice of violations issued for any drinking water MCL exceedance or treatment technique violation in over 100 years. Consumer conference reports are available online on our website, and we take water quality very seriously. We have very excellent source water. We like to think we have very excellent drinking water as well. We strive for reliable delivery of water from source to tap. This is a challenge due to the aging distribution system, the aging infrastructure, but we do want to have a reliable product that's delivered to our customers as well. We try to minimize the impact of these main breaks and leaks. We try to work with our customers to have a high reliability, as high a reliability as we can with the budget we have and capital expenses that we are able to afford. As an enterprise fund, we maintain our own transactions. Our finance group manages that through our accounting systems. We have been timely in completing our annual audits that are required separately from the city, on time and with no material findings for over 13 years. So we take that responsibility of the finances that we are receiving from the rates seriously. So we have good controls in place, and these auditors are very thorough. I wanted to talk about our vacancy rate. You can see actually we've been moving in a positive direction here. We have been successful in turning things around to try to hire more staff. We have about 275 filled positions of 365 on our TO, and we look to continue that success to build our workforce back up to be able to meet these challenges as we go through the project of the master plan and trying to work on this infrastructure. This shows our payroll expense. So this is our personnel services, and as you can see, we are trending up a little bit as a result of having some of that vacancy rate drop. Also, there have been some raises given out through the city, and there's always rising costs in healthcare and other personnel service costs. And I think that's our last slide. So with that, any questions?
Thank you, Director. Really, really detailed presentation. And I think it made it clear how quality our water is in the city and how our water division is a big part of that. So with that, I'll see if anyone on the committee has any questions. We'll start with Alderwoman Boyd.
Yes, sir. I do have questions. Could I please ask your name? I'm so sorry.
Sure, Neeraj Patel.
Okay, Patel. I always never can remember your name. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
And so I do know that you are part of the North Riverfront Park, Mr. Patel.
Yes.
And so what is your plans for the, because we're working with a lot of organizations that's upgrading the park. And so we're trying to see what your plans are in regards to that park, because we're trying to get as many partners as possible to help us upgrade and improve that park.
Sure. So we do own the park. We do have transmission mains that run through that, distribution mains that run through the park. As far as any partnerships go, we're willing to work with any agencies that have plans that have secured funding to make improvements in that park. But for our purposes, it's neighboring to our water treatment plant, the Channel Rocks water treatment plant. We try to be good stewards when we're doing inspections through the park of our infrastructure, and have worked with various agencies on improvements to that park. So I'd be interested in discussing any kind of improvements that you're looking for in the park. We don't have improvements to the park directly that we have in our budget, though.
Okay, so I can set up, my secretary can set up something with you so we can start working on that piece. And then the other question I have, because I was hearing all the dollars that it's going to cost. So, and it was I voted against the increasing of the water bill. And so it was committed to us at the Board of Alderman that it was going to be programs to assist seniors in regards to their water bills, because the way the bills are going now, if they miss 1 month, their bills will be as much as $300 or more for the next month, because it'll double up. And with them being on set incomes, I'm just trying to see, do you all have any programs in place? Because I did hear you say that they'll work with people, but they had committed when they were talking about increasing that water bill that they would have assistance for those seniors. So do you all have any programs in place like that?
Sure. So we do have the customer program that I mentioned. We're getting near the point where we're going to announce that program. It's using ARPA dollars to assist customers who are having trouble paying their bills. There are going to be eligibility requirements with that. And so, again, we don't have a hard launch date set, but that is coming very soon. The other types of assistance we can offer are repayment plans through the collector of revenue. We're always looking to assist our customers get back on track rather than shut their accounts. And we do bill quarterly. So I think you mentioned something about a monthly bill. Our average monthly bills are still approximately $35 to $39, depending on what kind of component counts you have or if you're on a meter. And so a lot of times customers that receive that bill quarterly will be looking at 3 months worth of consumption. There's also a refuse component on that bill. That's not related to the water service that we provide. So if any customers are having trouble paying their bills, we urge them to contact us, to work with our customer service, to see what kind of programs and offerings we have at the time to be able to assist them.
And so I understand it's quarterly, but the issue that I'm having is these residents are on set incomes. And so they are being charged quarterly and they have a trash bill. So their Social Security did not increase to a point that it would accommodate them in regards to these bills. And that's why I asked the questions about programs. And so now you're telling me that you all have not finalized the programs, but when it first came to increase the water bill, you all told me, because I asked personally, will you have something for seniors so they can be able to leverage some of these like MSD does? They have a forgivable piece. They work with the residents. So you tell me you don't have that, correct?
We're willing to work with the Board of Aldermen on developing a program like that. I think it would have to go through ordinance process, but we do have a program that is coming. Right now, the assistance that we can offer is by contacting our customer service and working with you individually on your account by way of a repayment plan or something along that line. When a customer is on a meter and they have a leak, we can also work with them to try to identify where the source of that leak is, whether or not it's something that's eligible for line insurance program. That's why I was saying if a customer is having an issue, to contact our customer service and work with us directly.
Okay, and so I think what I would suggest is that I know that you go to some meetings and speak to people in regards to whatever you have to offer in regards to leverage and educating them on what you all can do and what benefits them. But I just suggest that you get to as many meetings and or market it as much as possible so people will know, because a lot of our seniors, they don't know the benefit of going to meter, but then when you explain the meter, now it's another cost. So now they have to pay to get all this stuff installed. And again, we're working with people with set income. So I'm just asking that you all as a department look into that and how we can better serve our seniors so they won't be in those situations, because it's becoming more challenging, as people might know, from what's going on in Washington. And so the seniors are being hit from all ends. So all these increases is not helping them, it's hurting them. So that's what I would ask. And then I know that we've had the conversation with the Board of Alderman for a while, and we knew that the increase only put a Band-Aid on the issue that you all have. And so are you all looking at doing a bond in regards to improving our infrastructure with our water system?
Yes, we are. So we've applied for funding through the state revolving fund. We've been put on a fundable list. That would need to come with a bond issuance. And so, one of the challenges is making sure that we're financially in a good position to be able to take on that debt instrument. There are criteria to be able to, show that you can pay that debt back. So the amounts of money that we're talking about are fairly large, and we need to be able to say that we're in a good position to support repayment of that debt. Our fiscal year 26 actually has us taking another $4.1 million from the water contingent fund. And so we're still moving in the wrong direction when it comes to being able to support our operation and, off of the revenues that we generate from our rates.
Okay. And so my other question, staffing. So I know as other departments, you all are challenged with staffing. So are you still having a big gap in regards to your staffing?
So we are making some headway there. We're moving in the right direction. We still have a challenge when it comes to staffing, though. We do have a 25%, 26% vacancy rate still. So we're always looking for support to try to be able to recruit better, to be able to offer competitive salaries, and that's something that we're working with the Department of Personnel on.
Okay, and your turnover, has that improved or?
Turnover has improved a little bit. There have been some meaningful increases that have been put through. I think that there's a job study that's coming that will take another look at our pay, but we are seeing a little bit of improvement there as well.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chair, I have no more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Alderwoman ClarkHubbard.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Patel, for all the work you're doing. This was a great presentation. I'm glad it was captured here so that we'll be able to share it. I also want to publicly thank you for the way you and your department responded to many of the constituents that had their water lines ripped up with those 100-plus-year-old trees during the tornado. I appreciate your quick response to be able to get them back onboarded and get their water services on. So thank you, and please let me know how I can support you and the work across, not just, but across the city.
All right, thank you.
Alderwoman Schweitzer.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and all the work that you do. I really appreciate it. I have a few questions about your presentation. One of them, I'm just trying to understand if I'm reading it right. The delinquency amount is 25%.
Yes.
Is that across all of our customers, a quarter of them have not paid their bill or are not up to date on their bill? Is that correct?
Correct. So basically billed amount versus collected amount.
But it would be fair to say a quarter of our customers have not paid their full bill.
Correct.
Okay. And it's my understanding that's about $10 million of delinquency?
The number fluctuates, daily, honestly, but a little bit over that.
Do you plan to have some sort of notification letter going out to these folks, letting them know that there's a likelihood that their water will be turned off if they don't pay that?
Yeah, our plan is to do a phased approach, to do a lot of outreach ahead of that. Our goal is not to shut accounts, it's to get our account holders back into good standing. So we are going to send letters. They'll be targeted towards those that may be eligible for the program that we have coming up. And, the goal is, again, for them to contact us, to work with us, to see what kind of assistance we. Some
sort of payment plan might be an option as well. Right, because that's just too much of it. That's, we can't.
Yeah, our rates
we just can't do it.
Are low, but over time, the balances can become
really add up. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge amount of money to be missing. So I know we've talked about this at length already, but very excited about the master plan and the rate sufficiency study. One of the things that I feel like is really important from the master plan moving into the rate sufficiency study, as you mentioned, there'll be a lot of information about the capital projects and how much that's all going to cost. I understand why the rate sufficiency might need to come after that because we'll know more about the costs, but do you anticipate at any point, either during the master plan, before the rate sufficiency study, doing any sort of bond? And I know I still am very passionate about some RAMS funding going towards water division infrastructure, but these are things that often can't wait, and we need to move money faster. And what are your thoughts there?
Sure. So we do have, again, that SRF loan that we've applied for, that we've been put on the fundable list for. Our plan is to move forward with that.
The revolving fund loan?
A revolving fund, yeah. And so the interest rate there is subsidized. It's a good deal for ratepayers. It's a good way to fund these high dollar infrastructure projects that last a long time. So you can spread the cost out over time.
Right. And then with our rate increase that passed a few years ago, we had 2026 as the year when it would go to the consumer price index increase, which is an effort to make more manageable, smaller increases to meet the needs of the water division. Because as an enterprise fund, I mean, everything going in is either spent by the water division, it goes right back into the water division or into the city if ever were an option. But what I'm reading, and there was just a quick search, about a 3% increase, or what are you expecting going into 2026?
Yeah, so we've anticipated that 3% increase. It was built into our revenue projections for fiscal year 26. And so, that'll have an impact, certainly. It'll be approximately 6 months of the fiscal year that we'll see that.
And in terms of, when we put together this bill, we were trying to be very thoughtful about preventing massive rate increases. And what I think is just as important as someone who is a human being and relies on water every day, reliable water service and making sure that our rates are actually covering the needs of the water division. I thought your first slide was great in terms of what happens when we don't have water. So with this increase that's coming, there are groups out there that, consumer protection groups that I know are talking about our increases, how much education, and when do we start making sure people know? Because it was talked about a lot when we passed the rates, increase originally, but it hasn't been a public thing we've talked about a lot since then. I mean, are we planning a public education tour or some way that we can help with that, or?
Yeah, I think this is a good forum to utilize for that. We can, educate the public, through this engagement ahead of time as we develop these costs and understand what the shortfalls may be, as this plan progresses. When we have an unexpected cost, our margins are pretty thin right now.
Right.
So, that's what we're talking about. The contingent fund is there to potentially utilize for that. But our annual appropriation, is for the operation and the projects that we've identified. When we have an unexpected, expense, that's something that has to be accounted for. And, that rate increase was a result of unexpected expenses due to COVID. So.
And how long of not having a rate increase?
13 years
of stagnant rates
rate increases.
And constantly increasing costs in the city. I mean, the amount, when you show how much the costs have increased in the water division, our rate increase covered the emergencies, making sure we didn't go into a point where we didn't have any money in the reserves, is my memory of the.
Correct. Yeah, we were using reserves year over year throughout that time frame, and again, we continue to rely on that. Next fiscal year, we've got $4.1 million projected coming out of that reserve.
Wow.
So we do have the 3% increase that we've built into that projection for revenue. We do have some anticipation of the debt that's owed with the delinquency coming back, but there is an expectation that if there are is an event that causes a larger cost emergency or some trend either with our expenses, chemical costs, personnel services,
right,
that will become an issue for us. So the RAMS money can help. That would reestablish some form of a capital fund that we could use to address some of the needs and go after those, priority projects, yes, but non-priority projects as well that could pay themselves back in a short amount of time and gain efficiencies that will benefit the customers.
And we need to have funds available for matching grants and things that have
Correct.
go up. I mean,
going into the reserves for those might be a dangerous thing to do. Might not be something that you're even advocating for.
No, the reserves, are there for an emergency, and have served, as a de facto capital fund for us, but it's been shown that it's not always reliable.
Right. I could ask a million more questions. I'll ask just one more question, and then I'll stop. The wholesale customers, I know you mentioned we have two. Three, apologies. Efforts to get more, or any outreach that we've seen from other places looking to partner with the city of St. Louis?
Sure. So our city, the distribution network that we have, the plant that we have out in Chesterfield, all of that would have to be reachable by a potential new wholesale customer, and they would bear the expense of connecting to us. We're always open to additional wholesale customers. We still offer a high quality product at an affordable rate, and can do so for a wholesaler as well. There have been other municipalities, other systems that have had conversations with us, but currently we're not looking at a prospect of adding a new wholesale customer.
Okay, which is one kind of addendum to that question. For the wholesale contracts that we do have, I remember talking about the amount that the city can charge them is based on a lot of different things. And one of the pieces is the capital improvements that the city does.
Correct.
So do you anticipate those rates going up as the city has been able to do more of these capital improvements?
If we're able to do a significant amount of capital improvement, that rate will go up. And so we will recoup some of that, cost if it's associated with supplying that customer. So again, a lot of those customers are tied in to our system along that 15-mile stretch of transmission conduit that goes from the Chesterfield plant
right,
to the city limits. And so it would have to be improvements, that are associated with that service.
Not just in the operations of the division, the division itself.
Correct. And that's just based on the current contract structure. These contracts are long-term, but they can be, amended, and do end and need to be redrafted. So.
Yeah, I just think it's so important to think about, that how much it costs the city to supply water to these people. And we are expecting our ratepayers to keep paying more. We need the rates to be realistic rates. And we know that the city of St. Louis charges significantly less than surrounding municipalities for water. And so when we're thinking about how much the city of St. Louis charges these wholesale customers, what more could we be benefiting from? So I appreciate it. Thank you for taking so much time. And as always, thank you for what you do. We really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Alderman Devoti.
Director Patel, thank you for your very detailed presentation. It's appreciated. I did want to ask some follow-up to make sure that I'm on the same page as I'm learning about your the water division. So you mentioned a $10 million number with respect to outstanding accounts, and you mentioned that it fluctuates. I guess it depends on month to month. That would be residential customers, is that right?
That's a combination of residential and commercial.
Okay.
Real.
When we talk about a 25% delinquency rate, I guess that would be of residential and commercial customers as well?
Correct.
And how many customers do we have?
So we have approximately 79,000 residential customers. And when I say residential customers, that's because of the flat rate. You can't be on a flat rate if you're a commercial or industrial. And then we have 12,600 metered customers. There are some residentials in there, but they're mostly commercial and industrial.
Okay, fair enough. And so when we talk about 25% delinquency rate, that's a massive number, is it not?
It's high. It's not out of scope. I mean, there are other systems that have delinquency rates, but it's also contrasted by our affordable rates.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, we charge affordable rates, but yet, quarter of our customers don't pay the bill.
Correct.
I mean, if I'm a regular guy sitting at home, that angers, annoys, and frustrates me beyond belief if I'm paying my bill. I mean, right?
Yeah, we're working with the mayor's office on the strategy to turn that around. The moratorium that was put in place, there is a plan to lift that and to try to recoup that balance and also get back into a good standing with all of our customers who are delinquent.
Sure, and I understand the purpose behind the original moratorium, but I mean, we are years beyond the pandemic at this point.
Correct.
Okay, so discussions are underway to change that.
They are.
It's just, as somebody hearing these things for the first time, and I heard you say at least 3 or 4 times you used the phrase, we run on a thin margin. It's just, for a comparable size municipal water department, what would be the delinquency rate? I mean, I'm certain there's always some, but.
Sure. It's highly variable. And, a lot of that is tied to the fact that we are still not shutting water. That's why it's so important to reach out to our customers who are delinquent, offer them a path to getting back on track, and work with them to get them paying for the service that we provide.
Sure, because if we never change our collection habit, and I haven't paid a water bill in 4 or 5 years, why would I start now? I mean, I'm getting, as you said, premium product at no cost. So it just seems like the way we handle things needs to change immediately.
It is a very important, strategy and communication that we're working with the administration right now on. We do have the assistance program that's rolling out to be able to offer to our customers who are delinquent as well. And that was an important piece. So communication is the big thing, to have our customers who are having trouble paying their bills contact us to try to get back on track with a repayment plan, with assistance, to avoid being shut.
But it also seems that on the flip side of that, it's just as important to establish a protocol, to establish an end date, communicate that, and start collecting these fees. I mean, that's just from 10,000 feet. That's my observation. I appreciate you answering our questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. I think my colleagues covered it really well, but just kind of what I'm hearing from you, and I just want to make sure I'm hearing it correctly. We have fantastic water, but we charge less than other cities, and we're barely making it work, as well as having hundreds of millions of dollars in potential capital needs in repairs to infrastructure and upgrades.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's important that I am very sensitive to people's need to be able to afford, and I know everything's getting more expensive these days, but what we experience as consumers of everything getting more expensive also applies to our departments and the costs of their operation. And so we need to make sure that we are still charging enough money to actually continue to deliver the superior product, because I believe that water is the thing that St. Louis has going for it. It is one of those things that is unique to our city. We have excellent water. As you said, we have good source water, and then our treatment is excellent to the point where we don't have to worry about dangerous chemicals that other places have to worry about. We don't have to worry about running out of water like almost every Western state has to worry. So we are in a great position, but if we don't take care of our infrastructure, we will not be, and I feel like we are on the precipice here. So I don't have any questions, because I think you answered them really well, but I just want to drive that point home that we really need to make sure we invest in our excellent infrastructure to make sure that we can get this to be a place where we are well situated for the future. Alderwoman Boyd, I see you have your hand up. Do you have an additional question?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I guess my frustration is we cannot continuously, and the question was asked of the previous commissioner with water, in regards to how we got in the situation we in. So I just feel we can't continuously nickel and dime this department, one, but two, we have to look at it holistically. And the Rams is only a drop in the bucket on what we can accomplish with trying to leverage some of this cost. But the seniors are going to suffer from it because, like I said, this was promised before when this bill first came out about the increase that they, because I talked to them, I asked that question explicitly. Or are you going to have something to assist these seniors to ensure that they can pay, have some kind of leverage on paying their bills? And I get it. It is people out here that haven't paid water bills for 4 or 5 years. So I keep saying the two most dangerous words in our city is communication and accountability. And so I don't know if it's something you all need to do where you reach out to the people, to talk to them about the bills, to start pushing for them to make arrangements to pay those bills. But I just think that at the end, our seniors are going to suffer from this. And so I just couldn't support that because I just think they worked all their life and now here we are nickel and diming them with every little utility we're going up on their bills. So now they'll have to make hard decisions. So I appreciate you coming, before us and asking, giving us the answers that we're asking for. But I just think we need to be cautiously going into this and making sure that we are doing everything we can to, one, ensure that we continue to have the best water in the country, and two, to make sure that when you go after bonds or whatever dollars, that we're just not nickel and diming this issue, because this isn't an issue that you have to nickel and dime. And Kurt said that the pipes are so old and stuff is corroded. That's a reflection of us as a city. So I think we just need to look at what it's going to cost us to get us where we need to be, and then ensure that we can get that taken care of and take care of our residents. Thank you so much.
I think we're in agreement on that, Alderwoman. Thank you so much, Director. We really appreciate you being here today. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody signed up for public comment on this discussion?
We do. We have Mr. Conley online.
Mr. Conway, if you're still with us. All right, good to see you. And we'll give you 3 minutes. Yeah, please feel free. Well, first, let me swear you in. If you could raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much. You have 3 minutes.
Very good. Chairman Browning, members of the committee, thanks for the opportunity. I really kind of want to pose a question here, if you could direct this to Commissioner Patel, which is regarding his comment regarding the potential for the issuance of bonds. And my understanding is that bonds for the water division would be payable from revenues, be that from water customers with the city or from outside municipalities. So I'm just wondering if he could clarify the structure of those bonds, and whether, if there was a bond issuance, would there be a associated hike in rates at that same time? So that's my question.
So the way we typically do this is we don't do question and answer, but if you have any more questions, go ahead and ask, and I will happily relay those questions, because I think that's a good question.
Okay, yep, understood. Yep, that's all the comment I have.
Okay, Director, if you'd like to answer that question, I too am curious.
Sure, they would be revenue bonds. We would have to be able to support them with our rate structure.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Really appreciate, again, you being here today. Your patience, it was very much appreciated. We had a much longer meeting than normal today. So I really want to say thank you to the whole committee for sticking through the whole meeting and hearing our departments out, because it's a really important part of our job. With that, I don't think we have anything else. So is there any written testimony, Madam Clerk?
We have none.
Do any of the members of the committee have any announcements? Seeing none, all members are present, so no need to excuse. And with that, I'll accept a motion to adjourn. Moved by the Alderman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 5th. Previous roll called by the Alderman from the 1st. Hearing no objection, we are adjourned.